It's been really cool to see a little bit of a run after WrestleMania that AJ had with Cody, and they pushed him to the main event because AJ is still got it. 47 years
Oh,
old and still looks amazing, man.
I know I heard he's going to retire, though. I don't know if that's true or not, but I read it online somewhere, and he said it was because of he had enough bumps in his career. And listen, AJ took a lot of bumps, probably more than anybody.
Yeah,
He
so true.
sacrificed his body every single match, always worked 120%. He was a guy that when you worked with him was a lot like Rey Mysterio. He would fly around and all you had to do was catch him, and it was
Yeah.
easy on me, but really difficult on him. And but AJ has proven that he's one of the top right now today. I still to this day. He also said he wants to retire because his son's playing D1 baseball in college now, and he doesn't want to miss any of his games. So I guess AJ's going to be doing daddy duty and following his kids around, watching them play sports.
Sounds like somebody else I know. But you know what? And then maybe it's a lighter schedule. I'm sure, he's starting to think about that more and more. He's in phenomenal, no pun intended, shape and can still get it done in the ring. So I'm sure at some point it's coming. But man, what a great guy too. No one knows that better than you do. He's one of those guys that everybody just has something. Nobody has anything negative to say about AJ.
No, because he never has anything negative to say about anybody. AJ is one of the coolest guys I've ever met, and he's one of my closest friends till this day.
Man, that's great. That's great. That's one guy that I wish we could have gotten together on the Kurt Angle show at one point. And never say never, down the road,
Yeah.
way down the road, but you never know. We'll see how that all works out. But a big fan of his work. We'll continue on with our super chat, and this is one of our members, David Van Boglin. David is the man, and I know he's going through a lot of health issues right now. But David, we just appreciate you so much. He said, Paul, good to see you, my man. And Kurt, I'm recovering from back fusion surgery. And I see the doc today about my upcoming neck fusion from C4 to C7. The back hurt like hell. What am I in for on the neck?
Oh, God bless him. C3 to C7. Oh man, I listen, man. I know you're going to be okay. I promise you. You're going to be very limited. You're not going to be able to turn your head very much. Having that many levels fused together. I don't know what happened in your life and why you had to have back and neck fusion, but my prayers are with you, and I hope you recover very well. And I just want to say you're in for a long journey, but just keep your head up and keep plugging forward.
He is a tremendous value, a tremendous guy I've gotten to know the last few months, really helps us out a lot here. And David, we wish you nothing but the best and a speedy recovery. Kurt, I think this is as good a time as any just to get an update on how you're feeling physically. You've had the knee replacements over, almost close to 2 years now, has it been?
Almost, yeah. You know what? My knees are great. I don't have any pain. At one point, my doctor said, "Listen, your knees are bent. Like they were literally bent. Like I couldn't stand straight up. I look like an old man walking around." And he said, "I don't know if I'm going to be able to get your knees straight." My wife Giovanna said, "Listen, doc, you better get his knees straight." She basically threatened him. He's like, "Listen, I'll do the best I can." So what he did is he smartened up and realized once I had the surgery, when I went to rehab, he had the rehab individual straighten my knees out by putting pressure on them and having me in a certain position for a certain period of time. And you know what? My knees straightened out. I couldn't believe it. I actually gained 3/4 of an inch in height. So I'm actually taller now, almost an inch taller. And it's because of my wife, Giovanna.
She is just the blessing of all blessings.
Yes,
I want to tell you something. When I first met you in person, obviously we had already started working together on the show, but then I got to meet you together in person. We were going to do a live show, and I had not seen you in a while as far as on television. And I saw the way you were walking, and I was like, oh my goodness, what has happened to Kurt Angle?
I know.
It was so noticeable.
That's why I retired early, Paul, is because I saw that on TV. I was like, oh man, I look like an old man, and I don't want fans to remember me like that. I mean, in my prime, I was perhaps one of the best of all time. And here I am, I'm looking like an old man struggling in the ring. I just hated it. And so that's the reason why I didn't go to the following WrestleMania to retire with John Cena. I retired with Baron Corbin because I didn't have a choice. We were doing a program together, and Vince McMahon couldn't just switch Baron with John Cena. So he said, listen, you got to go with Baron, continue with this program, and wrestle him at WrestleMania. And then the following year, we'll have you retire with Cena. I said, I can't wait a year, Vince. It's just, my body is just too banged up. So unfortunately, that didn't happen.
I have a question from Liam Evans. Kurt, do you believe in Joe Hendry?
I believe in Joe Hendry. Yes, I do. I got to wrestle Joe over in the UK, and it was for pro wrestling. I can't, WCPW or something like that. And he's good. And not only that, he had this character where he would sing songs about his opponent.
Yes.
And he did one about me, and I was like, holy shit, this guy needs to be in WWE. I mean, he was Elias times 100,000. Okay, like he was able to tell stories about his opponents every single week, and he would come up with these songs, and he would play the guitar, and it was just really impressive. And not only that, but he was a great worker in the ring. So I knew this kid was going to be something special. I'm actually surprised that he hasn't been pushed even further at this point in his career.
It's I don't know if you've noticed it or not or heard about it. NXT has started a partnership the last several months with TNA. And
Joe Hendry ended up at NXT.
Yeah. And now the song, I believe in Joe Hendry. And then it's like the place explodes. He comes down, flashes his face. It's so awesome.
Yeah, he deserves that, man. I mean, the kid is multi-talented. He really is.
And but how cool is it to see NXT's relationship with your longtime company, TNA?
You know what? I'm glad they're doing it. It's just for a long time they considered TNA competition, and I don't know if it was ever competition. The Monday Night Wars was real competition, WCW versus WWF. But TNA, when I was there, we weren't getting near the right ratings WWE was, but we were doing pretty well. I mean, we're getting 2 million viewers a week, and it was pretty impressive for a small company. We were never competing with WWE, but it's kind of cool that they realize that now, and they want to reach out and mix with other companies, and with a company like TNA, and I think that's really cool.